Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I watch many YouTubers and a recent obsession I have is the Empire seasons. I'm currently watching through all of Season 2, from everyone's perspective. And since I'm better at making dolls than digital art on my phone, I've decided to make dolls of them. I'm going to start out by making Smajors, or Scott, or dang that's a long name. I'm going to be using this Deuce Gorgon from Monster High because I prefer the face shape for this character. The first thing I have to do is take off his molded on scale hair, and this takes me a good half an hour even with a knife. Off camera, I also take off the face with some acetone. I do this in my garage because of the fumes. Next, I add some sculpted on pointed ears. I don't actually know if he has pointed ears canonically in Season 2, but I'm adding them anyway. I also fill in a hole in the head with some clay. Once all the clay is dry, I go around the hairline painting in the hair color. This is to make it look thicker and fuller when I actually put the hair on. After that's dry, I start blushing the face. I used to blush the entire body, but then I realized it was a waste of time because you would never see it. Also, if you're not into doll customizing, but you're watching this video anyway, I blushed the face so that the plastic looks more alive, which I realize if you're not a fan of dolls, you don't want that. After I seal all the pastels in, I start on the face. First thing I do is paint in the whites of the eyes, going a bit past the molding to make them bigger. Then I paint in the infamous heterochromia. I paint a black outline around the eyes off camera, because I don't want to screw it up, and I also draw in the eyebrow shapes, then paint them in. I seal the whole face in, and then it's actually time to start doing the hair. I use a light blue yarn and a darker blue yarn as the streaks going through the hair. I get that on the skin it's probably just shading, but I interpreted them as dark blue streaks either way. I glue all the wefts on in layers, and then when it's all dry, I only have to trim it a small bit. For his pants, I was going to use a pattern from this pair of pants that I took apart, but I had these jeans in my stock that I'm using instead. Yeah, I'm saving time. I instead used this shirt pattern to make a pattern for the undershirt, or just the white shirt that goes under his jacket. I would hem it, but that would give extra layers to the shirt that I don't want there, so I just give it some fray check. After all the fray check is on, I just sew up the shoulders, then sew up the sides, and add the sleeves, and then boom, white undershirt. While I'm here and have an open space to talk about this, I wanted to make more of the Empire's SMP members. I do have some ideas in mind for different dolls. I'll put them on screen now. And if you do want to see that, just let me know. And if you have any suggestions for what dolls I should use, definitely let me know. It looks very strange on the doll here, and trust me, I'm well aware, but my doll stand wasn't having it and was just making it look warped. Now I get all my colorful fabric quarters out and do the part that I have been dreading. the jacket. I dreaded this way more than I needed to. For the pattern, I just took the shirt pattern and enlarged it a couple times because it needed to actually fit over the shirt. The sleeve part didn't in the end, but we're gonna ignore that. I also didn't hem this one and just used fray check again. Then I ended up with these two light blues and these two dark blue sides. Then I needed to take one of the light blue sides and one of the dark blue sides and sew them together. This will form the back piece. With the last two sides, I sew them at the shoulders to their respective colors. The sleeves were also pretty simple. I just trace out the pattern, then cut it out, fray check it, and sew it onto each respective side. And yes, I made sure they were on the correct side. You can even double check. And the finishing touch on this quilt of a jacket is the collar, which is just two rectangles of fabric sewn together to get a multicolor look. The jacket doesn't need any snaps, so it goes straight onto the doll, along with a length of purple for the belt. For shoes, I just use a pair of Hunter Huntsman's boots from Ever After High. And lastly, the accessories. I'm gonna start with the hat. I cut a rectangle of cardboard the circumference of the head, and then glue that onto a piece of cardboard to make the top out of. After that's dry for a few hours, I go around and cut it out, being careful not to accidentally pop it off, but I'm certain that won't happen. For the actual cover of the hat, I'm not just gonna paint it, I'm gonna actually make it out of fabric. I make a tube out of fabric, then put a circle on top of that. That'll be good for the base of it. For the rim of the hat, I just cut a rim out of cardboard and do the same thing with the fabric, covering it up. It's now that I pop on the fabric for the actual base of the hat. I leave a bit of overhang so that I can glue it inside the hat while having a clean edge. I don't stick the brim of the hat on just yet. I still have to add all the little patches around the hat. I looked at multiple screenshots from a few different perspectives to be able to see where all of the patches are on this hat. It's only after all the patches are on that I can finally put the brim on. And we can't forget the feather that goes in his hat either. I sketch out a couple different tries. This first try here is way too small, and it takes me a couple more tries to actually get it right, but in the end I finally got it. Third time really was the charm here, as this feather is the perfect size. I just cut little slices into the feather on both sides to give it more detail, and then I glue it on. I also cut out a strip of faux leather and wrap it around the hat, and I take this tiny piece of gold-like chain and glue that on too. And the last part of this doll, the wing. I sketch up this blueprint, but I only have these small popsicle sticks to work with, but I make it work, and considering these are the only two screenshots I'm going off of, I'd say I did a pretty good job. The first thing I do is cut off the round ends of some popsicle stick to make this sort of back brace. It'll hold the whole thing together and make a structure. Then I take popsicle sticks and put very small holes into them, being careful not to crack it. Even though this one cracked. It takes many tries to get this right, but eventually I have all these popsicle sticks with small holes in them. I glue a couple of these popsicle sticks onto the back piece to make the first structure. Then I take another 2 of these and paint them gold because there are gold accents on these wings. After those 2 are painted, I take some popsicle sticks that don't have holes in them and attach them on with some glue. I then paint all the popsicle sticks brown to match the Minecraft stick color. I glue those together, then set them all together at the joint. I'm going to be using a piece of wire to connect them both, with a bundle of wire on the end to keep it from slipping off. For the actual fabric or inner parts of the wings, I take these 2 patterns and cut them out of different fabrics. But first, I hot glue these fabrics together because I don't want any raw sewn edges to be showing. This inner part was definitely less complicated than this outer part, as you can see, but I got it in the end and glued it all onto the frame. Finally, I glue on this red square, add some straps, and he's done. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and again, if you have any suggestions for what dolls I should use, then definitely leave it in the comments below. See ya!